Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, let's talk about Tascam PhotoCapture X8. So let's dive right into it. Now it's just called X8 basically. Now this is a portable recorder. Now be mindful, portable recorder simply means it has onboard mic, stereo mic, which you can configure either A/B configuration or XY configuration. Now this is a 6-channel input. Yes, it has 8 in its name, but it can only record 6 discrete audio channel, and 4 of them are XLR combo jacks. Meaning if you want to connect some big equipments, big microphones, this puppy can handle that. Now main selling point of this, because this sort of equipment is kind of cheap equipment, but why the heck it's such a big deal? It's simply because it's a HDR recorder, meaning 32-bit float audio. I will talk more about it in later. And this looks very different compared to any Zoom equivalent, simply because it has a huge touchscreen. Now be mindful, huge for audio recorder compared to mobile phone, this is tiny, but you get that point. Like this is the first time audio recorder for common public price range has a user interface as a primary focus, rather than let's figure out how to do PhD into using this equipment. It's just like easy to use. So this is the equipment that we are talking about here. Now 32-bit float recording, if you have not watched my last video, basically think of it this way. Audio comes in from your microphone, it goes through 2 parallel channels. One is high gain setting, another is low gain setting. Now low gain settings are very good for capturing high volume events, high decibels, and basically high gain setting is very good for capturing low decibel events, meaning one captures quiet sounds, another captures loud sounds, and both are fed into one digital file. Let that sink in. That is the main critical aspect, because again, very early on, many Hollywood level equipments have this sort of setting, but they always used to store 2 digital files. This time all those data is bounded into one file. Now what does that mean? That file is so big, as in like 32-bit float capacity is so huge that clipping does not happen. Meaning if you go to 0 dB, it does not matter. It's like, okay, who cares? Like for example, if you clip down like a 24-bit, you will find that it's just a flat chop. It will kind of sound horrible. However, if it happens on 32, you can scale it down and it will have all the audio, because it has so much depth, so much points to store data on, that even when you scale up, like let's say this is low gain, you scale it up, it's still smooth. When you scale a 24-bit audio, it's still it starts to become very noisy kind of environment. It starts to feel very choppy, and you will notice that anytime people are recording equipment, they're always trying to make sure the decibels is as high as possible, like -12, -18. Why? Simply because if you are recording in 24-bit audio, it's awesome at like high peak volumes. It's like it's very well designed for capturing peak volumes, but if it's a very very quiet volume, it will have very hard time recreating it properly. But 32-bit has enough depth. It's like, I don't care, man, I don't care. And in terms of high gain, that's the most amazing aspect. Like it's almost like magic. Oh, it clipped, no problem, just scale it down, don't even have to worry about it. And yes, it is supported by surprisingly large amount of digital audio editing software, so don't even worry about it. So what does that mean? Like when you have this sort of capacity, that simply means before clipping, your mic must physically clip, meaning the digital capacity is so huge, and even the analog capacity, because analog now has 2 parallel channels, it is more than enough to take care of any microphone ever made. The only limitation now is that your microphone would clip before that, because again, every microphone has a limit that it can only vibrate at, let's say, 35 dB, and it can only vibrate successfully at 120 dB. Once it goes above 130 dB, it may physically distort, it might physically get damaged. So in those sort of scenarios, you can't actually expect a microphone to work properly. So again, that is the limitation. Earlier our file storage system was so limited that mics were always more capable, but our recording could not handle it. Now it's opposite. Now it's like, dude, we got this. Storage capacity is like, we got this, don't even worry about us. But the microphone is the limitation. And what about the audio quality, the feel, the signature, the tonality? That is now limited by the analog side of it. Digital side, we got this. There is more than enough basically data points where you can plot every single waveform, that you do not have to worry about it. If your analog side can properly take the analog data and feed it to the digital side is like, do not worry about it. No longer you have to worry about it. That's why it's high dynamic range recording is specifically such a big deal. It's one of the very big innovation that has happened after very long time in audio industry. So mic preamps is the primary limitation. So if you have to choose between, let's say, 2 32-bit audio recorder, you may think, hey, one is cheaper, another is expensive, what's the difference? That would be the difference, the mic preamp. Now that's the limiting factor. If you have a quality mic preamp, you're gonna have quality output. If you don't have a quality, you're still gonna have the benefit of not clipping and all that, but it won't feel whoa. It's gonna be like good. And file size is not a big issue. You may think like, again, if you go from JPEG to RAW, you go YOLO amount in file sizes. However, here it's not same case. For example, in this recorder case, if you have 32 GB card and you are doing 24-bit wave stereo recording, it's gonna consume around it's gonna give you recording time of around 7 minutes 42 seconds. Not too much, but compared to 32-bit gives you 5 minutes 47. That's not that big of a difference. And same goes for 128 GB. One will give you 30 minutes, another will give you 23 minutes, so the gap is not too much. Wait a minute, did I mess up? I think that's hours, but you get the point. Like the percentage gap between 32-bit and 24-bit is not huge. It's not even half. So if you are recording, let's say if you are used to 512 GB cards, think of this, but now that 512 GB is recording as 128. So it's not too much drastic difference. It's not like 5 MB of JPEG versus like 55 MB of raw files. It's not that big of a difference. It's like 30 to 40%. So it's kind of awesome. It's the next big thing in audio industry. So what are the pros of this puppy? This has USB-C, which is surprisingly omitted in surprisingly recent Zoom recorders, including mine, Zoom recorder, Zoom H1, and it's a recent release. It's like still does not have that. And nowadays finding micro B cable is becoming an issue. So yeah, it's translates to a big hassle. And again, power delivery, that's good. It can support 512 GB card, which is kind of less compared to F3. F3, that puppy can go up to 1 terabyte, but not too much of a hassle, but you get that point. Now it's very easy to use in terms of touchscreen, because well, if you compare to F3, the F3 is like, A, you have no settings, B is just like black and white screen, and that's an issue. So what does this mean? This simply means this tool is very good for starter to intermediate user, meaning if you're just giving it to someone, they can actually figure it out on their own. The interface is surprisingly well built, and for music student, for instrument players and all that jazz, it's like very good. Even for podcasters, it's really good. And in podcast mode, you can have two clips like A and B, and where you can like press the clip and be like clap sound or like beep sound if you want to curse. So again, we expected a bit more, simply because other Zoom alternatives have 4 buttons, and the screen is big enough where you can have like even 4 or 6 buttons, but okay, that's okay. And this is the first time an audio device feels like it was designed in 21st century, not 20th century. So that is the main thing. This is an audio equipment, looks like, yeah, something recently has been made. It's not like, oh, we have just improved like 32-bit audio recorder, and you look at the display, it's like, dude, why this display from 1990s is here? So this is one thing that is truly good for people. So what are the cons of the setup? Well, it still goddamn needs Bluetooth adapter. Now it's ludicrously frustrating, simply because compared to F3 is like $350 equipment. Now that's expensive equipment, but again, you may justify it. This puppy is $500 equipment. Why the heck a $500 equipment needs a $40 adapter? That is just flat out not acceptable. And whenever you are talking about recorders of this price range and this sort of a system, you have to include what we call a windscreen, simply because again, these are custom size. It's not like a shotgun microphone where you can just buy a windscreen, and if windscreen is not perfectly suited for it, it may not work as desired. So that's something very frustrating, and it does not have any timecode input. Now company has claimed, as in Tascam has claimed, that they may add it with a Bluetooth adapter. Now that's another frustrating part. That's why it should not have been something like that you buy extra, because think of it this way: if you are recording 4-channel recording, there is a good chance you may have multiple camera setup also. You cannot do that without timecode. Again, you can try, but good luck with that. If you have timecode, your life is easy. Why the heck this does not have timecode inbuilt? That is frustrating. And for $500 equipment, a surprisingly large portion of it is made out of plastic, or 100% of it made out of plastic. That may be an issue, may not be an issue, but that simply means even though this equipment is supposed to be used in field, supposed to be portable, if you drop this puppy, good luck, God help you. So that is one of those things that may, but like, I'm genuinely frustrated by this puppy. It's like, why? This genuinely hurts me. It's like, at $500, it really hurts me. I get it at a very cheap point. Here's the deal. This is the irony of it. Like same with Tascam and Zoom. Basically, Zoom F2 has basically a Bluetooth variant, and you don't have to pay extra for it. You don't have to buy an adapter. And after everything, yeah, you have to buy adapter. It's like, why? Just embed this. Like, this is a huge device. You can see that. Like, this almost goes inside the system. That means you could have easily, like, yeah, there is more than enough space to embed this. But this was one of those things that's like, again, they are trying, but they're still like, what if we still stay in 1990s? So this was my presentation on such a small device. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friend. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.